All open all your three eyes and manifest the powers of Mahasannidhanam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om 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 Nithyanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvaditam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasyadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamajalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavaditam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Nithyanandam, welcome each and every one of you watching us here today, joining us here today
on Nithyananda TV, KAILASA's official TV channel. Swamiji, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagatguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam, has taken the immense responsibility to revive, safeguard and protect the Sanatana Hindu Dharma. As a part of that, Swamiji is reviving the KAILASA nation and has been actively working to create an only Hindu nation for the past 26 years. Not only that, Swamiji is also, through satsanghs and various programs and classes, has been reviving and bringing back new life to the ancient Hinduism, to all the techniques, powerful cognitions, practices of Hinduism. One of them being the Vakyatasutas. Vakyatasutas is having an open platform where all these great truths, concepts, everything is brought out for discussion. Brought out so the Kandana and logic to form. Expansion of the new logic to happen. So let's look into a little bit more about what is Vakyatasutas exactly. So when any truth is being imbibed by an individual, when any truth is imparted to an individual by the master, it happens in 4 steps. The first step happens when the truth is heard by the master, is heard by the disciple from the master. That is the first step. And in this process, 25% of absorbing the truth happens. The second step, the 25% happens when the disciple internalizes the truth. After cognizing, listens, understands and the third 25% happens in the Vakyata, when these truths are brought out and discussed with fellow peers and having discussion with others and allowing the expansion of logic to happen, the Kandana and Mandana. That is the third. The last 25% happens when we live these principles, these truths in our life. When we eat food, simply eating it alone is not enough for it to become energy in our body. There's only one part. But for digestion, there are another whole set of things which need to happen. So cognizing any truth is in a similar way, where when we hear the truth from the master, it is like consuming the food. It is inside us. But only when we do the process of the manana and having the Vakyatasatas and living these truths in our life, the nidhyasana, when we complete the cycle, only then that concept, that truth, powerful cognition is fully, the essence of it is fully absorbed into your system. Now, let's watch a small video from himself explaining the importance of the Vakyatasutas.
Listen. Listen. Manana. Vakyartha Sadas every day will give you a complete understanding. Not only that, please listen, every time when you keep these spiritual truths in your inner space, analyze them, think about them, contemplate on them, every moment you spend on intra-analyzing these great truths, your incompletions melt down, you are living Advaita. Understand how much ever you struggle to find the solution externally, you will never find the solution what you expect externally. If you think, I'll finish all the work, I took it on myself or Swamiji gave it to me, and then I'll rest in peace. Never. Even after you leave the body, we have work for you. Understand, if you are expecting the external solution, no. You need to be told you are a fool. Wherever you really need to be told you are a fool, you should be told that is the real good thing for you. If you have some disease, you need to be told you have that disease. Only then you will understand the seriousness and start taking medication. Manana, intra-analyzing is really, really, really important, because the life gets aligned to living Advaita with Manana. Shankara says beautifully, Shrute Shatagunam Vidyan Mananam Mananat Abhinitidhyasanam Lakshagunam Anantam Nirvigalpam. The meaning is Manana is 100 times superior to Shravana. Intra-analyzing is 100 times superior to listening. And living is 100 times superior to intra-analyzing. Nirvigalpa Samadhi, living Advaita, is infinitely superior. Please understand, you need to listen and internalize again and again and again. That is why I am insisting on Vakyartha Sadas. Even if there are 2-3 sannyasis in your ashram, start the Vakyartha Sadas. Slowly devotees will start gathering. Everywhere, in every ashram, every center, just like puja is compulsory, Vakyartha Sadas should become compulsory. More and more learning, more and more internalizing, more and more completion. Understand, other than the spiritual solution, there is no solution. How much ever you try to find any solution for any problem, whether it is personal, professional, organizational, intrapersonal, and interpersonal. Interpersonal is direct fight. Intrapersonal is cold war. You won't fight, but you will be waiting. See, it's like directly when you fight, it becomes like an equal fight. But I have seen many cunning fellows, they won't directly fight. They will wait. At some point, they will get that neutral person position. That time, they will use that position and attack. When somebody else is attacking him and he is fighting with somebody else, he is a neutral person. Now, come on, use that and attack. Violence. How much ever you hide, How much ever you keep inside and how much ever cunningly you plan, finally it is going to stink inside you, not anybody else. Whether it is interpersonal problem, intrapersonal problem, organizational problem, professional problem, or personal problem, the only way anything can be solved is spiritual solution. Vakyartha Sadas is the best way for a spiritual solution, discovering spiritual solution for any problem.
Nithyanam, we're back. Swami beautifully explained how, whatever the problem may be it personally, be it professionally, in any aspect of your life, the only way you'll have a solution, a permanent solution for your problem is by doing the Vakyata Satas. By sitting with yourself, sitting with another person, sitting and having the discussion, bringing out these topics. Many times there are some points which things which we are convinced about. Like take it for example about Nitya Puja, the morning Nitya Puja every day. And that is something which even we are convinced about. You may be a person who loves doing Nitya Puja every day and does not need any motivation or does not need any reminder to do puja every day. But about that same Nitya Puja, if you have a Vakyata Satas about it, with your teamily, with your fellow peers, with a few other devotees and disciples, the understanding of the Nitya Puja will become much deeper inside of you. Fundamentally, for everything that happens outside, it is we who are responsible for the reality we manifest. And as we are responsible for the reality we manifest, we may be living in a horrible reality, but that's the good news Swamiji has shared with all of us, that we are responsible for the reality we manifest. That means we are capable and have the power to change the reality to match it the way we want. Such a beautiful understanding Swamiji has given just by introducing the Vakyata Satas. Vakyata Satas is not just to have deeper understandings, it is a way to manifest these realities in our life as well. With this, let's move into the topic for today's Vakyata Satas. Coming back to our slides. The modern pharmaceuticals make money off of you being sick and not healthy. While insulin has existed since the 1920s, the price since then has skyrocketed, especially in recent years. Prices for insulin increased by 197% between 2002 and 2013, from $4.34 per millimeter to $12.92 per millimeter. The government funded research and major tax benefits that these pharmaceutical companies enjoy help them stay profitable. Meanwhile, they continue to hike up the costs of drugs, particularly life-sustaining drugs such as insulin. So as you can see here, it is a very sick way of how money is being made by the pharmaceutical industry. Unfortunately, the very system is designed as such, where it is the sick patients who generate the income for the medical field, for the pharmaceutical industry, for the drug industry, for the doctors. Unfortunately, what this is causing is, once a patient is healed, then they are no more going to come to you. And when they are no more going to come to you, you have no source of income. You have no more sick people anymore. So when the sick people are the source of their income, how is it that they are going to heal the people and assure that they will everyone is going to be healthy? If that happens, then they will lose the customers. They will not make any profit at all. Such a simple flaw, but affecting everyone in so many different directions, even causing deaths for many people. It is very surprising to see how this point is being overlooked and how no one has taken this into consideration. where the source of, as Swamiji beautifully says, when the source of the money is the sick people, why are the pharmaceutical industry is going to heal the sick people? Let's look over to another article. Analyzing the legal, financial, and organizational arrangements within which the pharmaceutical industry operates. These sometimes create incentives for drug firms and their employees that conflict with the development of knowledge, drug safety, and promotion of public health and innovation. They also make the public demand inappropriately on pharmaceutical firms to perform certain activities. On this leads to institutional corruption. Again, this is another example of the different ways on how the pharmaceutical industry purposefully chooses not to heal the patient, purposefully chooses to hike up the prices of life-sustaining drugs, as they had themselves mentioned, insulin, which 1 out of 4 Americans suffer from insulin. And diabetes has become a worldwide phenomenon where every other person you talk to has diabetes. If you take this a step deeper, you will see the pharmaceutical industries and the food industries, both of them collaborate. One of them poisons humanity, and the other one just try, in the name of healing them, just gives them the placebo effect. Neither they are fully healed. And the food industry contributes no way towards supporting the health of humanity. The collaboration of all of this, making the whole humanity into a money mining entity, basically, where money is literally churned from them and extracted from that. This is such the perverted and disgusting way of the healthcare industry in modern era. Now in Hinduism, the fundamentals were very different. A doctor was paid only when all their patients were healthy. For example, a doctor in a village of 100 was responsible to ensure the health of all the 100. Only then they will get their share of the harvest for that season. Without healthy farmers and villagers, it wouldn't be possible even to grow the crops. Fundamentally, in Hinduism, doctors were paid when their patients were healthy, not when they were sick. So, Hinduism had it completely the opposite way. The healthcare industry, the doctors, they regularly provided these herbs, these medicinal uh, juices and diets, with which, and made sure that each of the villagers took this, so that to make sure that they are healthy, and only if they were healthy, then they would be able to get a good harvest. Only with a good harvest, the doctors themselves will be able to get paid in whatever form it may be, of agriculture or specific needs and goods and products. But all of those products, all of those needs, agriculture, everything will be able to be made only when someone is healthy, only when someone is able to work and contribute. And someone is always half the time worrying about his life. How is he going to be a contributing member towards society, towards the community? This isn't big rocket science, but this is very fundamental and very shocking to see how such an understanding, how such a small, fundamental concept here is altered in such a way where source of income is sick people. And in Hinduism, in ancient India, it was completely the opposite way around. When everyone was healthy, they would be paid. So naturally, their intent is to keep everyone healthy. And it is not just about keeping everyone healthy and about the medicine and our knowledge about herbs. Ancient scholars of India, like Atreya and Agnivesa, have dealt with principles of Ayurveda as long as 800 BC. The works and other developments were compiled by a scholar called Charaka and is called Charaka Samhita. This text deals with a variety of matters covering body functions, physiology, etiology, embryology, concepts of digestion, what happens to food after it enters the body, metabolism, and immunity, protection from diseases. I wonder how the discoveries were made without an MRI machine. So this is an article from the Speaking Tree. You can visit their website, and it is not just about medicine, but a lot of issues regarding Hinduism, regarding the greatness of our Hindu Sampradaya. They beautifully present all the facts in that website. Whenever you get a chance, please uh, go visit speakingtree.in and take a look at all the different various facts which they have presented about Hinduism. Coming back to the subject at hand. Our rishis were very advanced, very intelligent, and very capable people. Without any of the modern technology which we currently have and possess and use regularly, they were able to do such advanced things, such as changing of the cataract, plastic surgery, giving prosthetics, attaching artificial limbs. The list goes on. If you actually visit the article, the link being projected below from where this um, excerpt was taken, you'll see they have beautifully presented the list of the so many different types of ways, which all of this are recorded in the Charaka Samhita. And it is wondrous to see how without any of the modern technology, all this was possible, very much possible, and our rishis performed all this on a regular basis. So coming to the topic of the Vakyatasas today, we have seen both sides how the modern healthcare system functions and how the ancient Hindu healthcare system worked. How can we move away from the corrupted healthcare system, and what are some ways we can start enriching ourselves and others with the Hindu healthcare system? So, before we enter into the Vakyatasas today, we go ahead and introduce myself along with the rest of the panel who have joined today for the Vakyatasas. My name is Sri Nithyananda and I am a Balsant of Nithyananda Gurukul. Prior to joining to Nithyananda Gurukul, I was born and brought up in the United States. Before coming here to the Gurukul, before meeting Swamiji, I was a born and practicing Hindu. With whatever customs and functions and everything we did at the house, I never really understood the meaning of or the reason why we should do all this more than just this is what our ancestors had followed and this is something we should continue as it's part of our culture, it's part of our heritage. It's our responsibility to keep it alive. Although it was not something I was against, at times it didn't provide all the answers for some of the questions I had. It was only after coming to Swamiji really understood things like even putting the kumkum in the forehead. All of these are more than just signs or more than just ways of saying that I am a Hindu. They all have very spiritual and physical meaning in terms of helping us not only in our spiritual growth but in our super conscious growth as well. In terms of making us better people, enlightening us to become super conscious ourselves. Each and everything described in Hinduism, Swamiji has given it all a new life, a new meaning by redefining them in the way where all of us in the modern era can understand. In a way where we know what we are doing and why we do it. In many religions, many cultures, they practice simply because this is the way their ancestors had taught them. This is the way it has been passed on from generation to generation. So, as the tradition, they just continue. Many times that's great. But without knowing the reason why we do what we do, it is where dilution happens. And Swamiji is, as a part of the revival of Hinduism and building the Kailasa nation, Swamiji has taken the responsibility of giving all this a new meaning, giving all this, making everyone understand the true purpose of why Paramashiva has asked us to do all these things in our life. So, let me now introduce the rest of the panel. Everyone else who has joined us here today. We have devotees from across the world who have joined us for the Vakyatasas. We have Ranoshan Edmund and Sri Nithyananda, both of them joining us from Canada. Thank both of you for coming today for the Vakyatasas and being a part of the Vakyatasas today. So, Ranoshan, you can go ahead and introduce yourself for all our viewers. Please go ahead.
Nithyanandam, thank you, Maharaj. My name's Renoshan, and I'm from Toronto, Canada. I studied in software engineering and also a little bit of medicine as well. And I got to know Swamiji around 2013. And yes, I'm looking forward to the Vakyathas of this today. Thank you for inviting me to here. Nithyanandam.
Thank you so much, Renoshan. We also have Srinidhi Nyanatmananda. Please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Nithyananda Maharaj, thank you, Nithyananda Renoshanaya, Nithyananda everyone. My name is Srinidhi Nyanatmananda. I'm an initiated disciple of Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. I've also been blessed with a spiritual name, and grew up in Canada playing ice hockey and a lot of sports, and spent 8 years in post-secondary studies, ended up with a degree as a elementary school teacher and a computer engineering technologist. I worked with in a few different countries in many different schools and different technological capacities for the last 20 years. And I've also been basically dedicating my life to the spiritual path since 2011, and was initiated into this path of sannyas in 2015 by Swamiji as a brahmachari. And so, yeah, now we're learning what humanity needs and how to make it happen. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Nyanatmananda, for coming and joining for the Vakyathas today. So, coming back to the question, how can we move away from the corrupted healthcare system? And what are some ways we can start enriching ourselves and others with the Hindu healthcare system? So, Nyanatmananda, maybe you can go ahead and you can start off by telling the ways. As you're living in Canada, maybe a hands-on, you might be having some experience. You might have seen people who are suffering because of the atrocities of the modern healthcare system. Maybe if you can go ahead and speak a little bit about how these things are in Canada, and what are some of the ways we can help and bring in the Hindu healthcare model. Please go ahead.
Okay, Nithyananda Maharaj. Yeah, so obviously people are essentially living without a solution, and there's a lot of worry about the future with the whole coronavirus situation, and generally people don't know what to do with their emotions. They don't know how to deal with their thoughts, and they're avoiding to know how to deal with stress. Generally people get caught into just taking action, and I actually had the same sort of thing. It's like, it'll be like sort of people will use like do a lot of activity out of frustration. So like, okay, I'm going to work, I don't really want to go, or I just need to get this thing done, or just need to do this, or just need to quickly eat and go, or just eat your food and go. Like, a lot of this is going on. Humanity has not been educated about you being with you. So that's one of the things that coronavirus has been showing people is, when I don't have so many outer world distractions, I'm kind of stuck with myself and how to deal with myself. So that's the thing is, there's the world's only ancient living civilization was entirely based on the temples that glorified the living deities, meaning that I have an awareness and a consciousness component that I can learn from and I can use. Like the divine energy that we all came out of. Like there's a way for me to utilize that. It's not only accidental. Sometimes it's accidental. You're happy, you see a child laugh, or you see a sunrise or a butterfly or a flower. Sometimes bliss happens accidentally. But there's also, the thing is, there also, like aside from life being a happy accident, also can there's also scientific solutions. So yeah, so that's pretty common. It's pretty common. There's a complete absence of education about you, education about your inner space. Like there's a small amount of education about obviously like personal hygiene. But in terms of like, I'll just kind of leave it at that. And one thing I would say is, for example, like what could be done, you know, I would even just as a funny sort of thing, just like, because in Canada, you know, for example, the Prime Minister will come on the TV and give the COVID-19 update. It'll be like, you know, things are bad and we're going to give some money to some people. I mean, so it sort of variations of that. So I was just sort of visualizing, like, I was just visualizing, you know, yeah, what could we do? Because people are saying they have a lot of difficulty. They don't know what to do. I can't handle my emotions. I don't know how to deal with the people I'm living with. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I don't know how to deal with my job being uncertain. I don't know how to deal with other people saying they can't talk to me because I have to wear a mask. We can't see each other. Like, so then I was just saying, well, the different politicians are coming on their TV stations often giving updates. And I just thought, well, what are the updates that we're giving, that Sri KAILASA is giving, that Swamiji is giving, right? And here's just a funny thing, I'll just leave it at that, is could you imagine if you just took like 4 of the biggest countries, India, China, Russia, United States, could we imagine if the next 4 times that, Nithyananda Maharaj, that those 4 presidents, premiers, prime ministers came on their national and international TV station? Could we imagine what impact there could be on the 3 billion people that live in those nations almost? Like if those leaders came on their next TV presentations, and said, hello everyone, here's the update from the presidential office. We'd like you to today just take 45 minutes to practice some yoga. We set up a website where you can be guided in 30-minute meditation also. Would like you to do that today and come back tomorrow for our next presidential update. There's also a 30-minute session that's going to help you learn how to organize your food habits and your eating. And then we have, in the evening, we have a 45-minute session to bring all your family to get healing for all your emotional problems and whatever's going on in your family. And there's a full day program for your kids. Like, could you imagine if the presidents, prime ministers came on and said, yes, welcome, here's the president addressing the nation. The coronavirus update I have for you is, we have a 24-hour healing plan for all of you to get healed. And we'd like you to focus on healing yourself and healing others. That's our message for today. Come back tonight, and our next message will be how to make garlic juice and how to prepare yourself for a good night of sleep and how to wake up in the morning, clean your body with panchakriyas. Like, can you imagine what a massive impact that would have immediately? If instead of saying, well, we're going to shuffle some money around, if they said, yes, everyone, the instruction for all 3 billion of you today is, please go to this session. Here's the link. Do your yoga and meditation and arrange your healthy food habits. Then we have a budgeting session to help you learn budgeting for, the challenging times. Like how that would just change the world if the leader, if those leaders just said, hey, we'd like you to heal yourself. We'd like you to care for yourself and the people you're living with. And we already have a system set up to do that. I was just sort of laughing about that. Like if they just said that, 3 billion people would start healing themselves today as an instruction.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you so much. Actually, so it's a very beautiful way how when the whole world is giving their presidential updates about what is the situation of the COVID-19 and what is the best way. Many times they don't give a best way to react, best way which people should respond to the COVID situation. Not just for the sake of their health, but for the sake of their mental well-being, like sitting at home. Many people are not working, have found so much of free time, and instead of without ignoring the global crisis of everyone having feeling the boredom at home, unfortunately, even they themselves do not have knowledge about that, do not have knowledge on how to help a being, how to help them spiritually. Only in the Kailasa nation, Swamiji not only teaches us how to protect ourselves, how to safeguard us health wise, but even mentally in a spiritual being level as well. Swamiji not only during the pandemic, much before the pandemic, from the time Swamiji started his public life, that is what he's been teaching. He's been teaching all of us how to be at peace with ourselves, how to be content and complete with ourselves. So, this itself is a very big way on how you can see, just comparing all the different nations, comparing all the nations on one side and Kailasa on the other side, and how our very approach to humanity is much different. It is not just about logistics, about statistics, about how many COVID cases have reduced for today, and when the new vaccines are going to come, how much money is being put into the creation and relief work for the pandemic situation. But it's also about how you can help yourselves and take care of yourselves during this pandemic when you're sitting at home, not exactly sure what you should be doing with yourself. If you want to be enriched, if you want to continue, if you want to learn the science of being complete with yourself, not needing any external factor to engage you, not needing any external factor to keep you alive and inspired throughout the day. If you want to learn how to be an inspiration to yourself, and just sit content with yourself, in completion with yourself, Swamiji is conducting the Paramashivam program following year. Let's watch a small video about the Paramashivam program. Please stay tuned.
The time is right. The world is ready. You are going to experience literally Paramashiva. Most powerful, intangible but definitive, intense processes. This is the most powerful spiritual nuclear explosion, the strong force of Kailasa landing on planet Earth directly. One thing I can be sure, you will not exist end of the program. I can guarantee that. Only Paramashiva will be there.
Yes, we're back. Coming back to the Vakyadhasatas, to the question presented today before us, how can we move away from the corrupted healthcare system? And what are some of the ways we can start enriching ourselves and others with the Hindu healthcare system? Let's all go ahead and give our listening to Ranoshan. Allow him to share his opinions, his thought currents and cognitions about this. Please go ahead.
Yes, Nithyanam. Ranoshan actually wanted to expand on what Jnanatma was sharing. See, actually one click that Ranoshan got is, for some reason or another, we can look in and see what the reason might be. It could be one reason or another. But for some reason, we have an ecosystem that's addicted to quick fixes. Even in the medicinal field, it's basically the symptoms that are addressed. Not saying this is wrong, because surely there is some good that comes out of addressing the immediate symptoms, because then that the immediate problem is addressed. but there's still the root problem. So it's a two-layer level. There's the immediate issue that's happening, but then there's also the root issue, which was causing the immediate symptom, not just in the physical health, but even in the mental well-being. The ups and downs are nothing but basically the root incompletion. And so it's the space of, why is there this thing of the quick fix, like this immediate reliance, a dependency on the quick fix? This is one thing I'm seeing when the quick fixes don't work anymore, when the individual really starts to see that the quick fixes won't actually solve this issue. It has a certain extent to which it can solve the issue, but when it starts to see that the quick fix will no longer work, people actually start to move towards the traditional medicine. This basically, the traditional medicine, the Ayurvedic medicine, is always for some reason a last resort. When all is said and done, when there's nothing left, for some reason, the last resort is always the traditional means of medicine, the ancient medicine. So why is that? Why is the last resort the Hindu way of medicine? Why is that not the first solution we have? This is one real issue, actually, because for some reason, like at the end of the day, after all is said and done, we do end up going to the Hindu medicinal system. When nothing else works, we end up going there as a last resort because we know it can work. We know it's proven itself. Yet for some reason, we entertain the quick fixes, knowing it's a quick fix. And so really how Renoshan is cognizing this whole situation is the ecosystem matters. See, right now, for some reason or another, it's an ecosystem that's dependent on quick fixes. Whether it's emotional health, mental health, physical health, and all these things, it's a quick fix solution that are sold. It's a quick fix solution that's basically in the market, and it's a very strong market. There's not a market for the root diagnosis. There's not a market for the basically addressing the root. And Renoshan really seeing this whole thing of how to actually shift this is nothing but basically shifting the ecosystem. But then how does that happen? How do we shift the whole ecosystem? See, the ecosystem is every individual being. It's every individual being that makes up the ecosystem. It's when one person starts to live a certain way, and then one more person starts to live a certain way, and then one by one they start to live like this. But the whole, actually, I wanted to close this off with a question is, see, right now what's trendy is the quick fix solution. COVID has proved that the quick fix solution does not work. COVID has completely exhausted all the quick fixes, showing that it doesn't work. So now it's a space of, what is this thing of being trendy? See, if completion was a trendy thing, imagine what kind of life we'd be living. If unclutching was trendy, imagine what this would be. If yoga was trending, original yoga, not the, I guess I can say modernized yoga, no, but the actual yoga, authentic yoga. If the authentic yoga became trendy, what kind of life it would be? So it's just this question that Renoshan has is, what is this, I can even say, what is the science of being trendy? What is this space from which the trends start to happen? Because the whole ecosystem functions on the trend. Some trends come and go. There's always trends that come and go, but some trends actually last because they were trendy. For one quick example I can give about this is smartphones. Smartphones started off as a trend. iPhones were here and there, Blackberries were here and there, Samsungs were here and there, but it was like a trend. It was like, oh, it's a new thing coming up, and everybody starts buying it because it's trendy, it's marketed in a nice way and all these things. But it lasted. It lasted because it actually contributed. It was a direct contribution to humanity as a whole and to the growth and basically the way humans were able to function. That's the only reason Renoshan is cognizing that this trend actually didn't just come and go, but it was a trend that lasted. It became a soft power. So it really is the science of a soft power that becomes trendy. If the soft power, whatever is being trendy, if it's actually relevant to human beings in their day-to-day life to sustain life, then the trend itself becomes sustained, maintained. So Renoshin wanted to bring up this question related to this because Renoshin's seeing the best way to actually start enriching ourselves and others with the Hindu healthcare system is actually to make it trendy. It's only the market. See, in any market, the parties involved want to attend to whatever is in the highest market, because that's how the I'm using air quotes, but the economy moves. That's how the lifestyle moves, because of what the people want. If the people wanted one thing, then the market will shift that way. If the people want quick fixes, then the whole market will be geared toward quick fixes. But if the market wants root diagnosis, then the market will shift this way. So it's this question of what is this thing of being trendy, and how do we shift the trend? How do we really... Yeah, this is just this space of questioning is there in Renoshin right now, is because really Renoshin is seeing it's nothing but changing the trend. As soon as something's trendy, then it quickly picks up. It gains momentum automatically by itself. But how does the trend start? This is the questioning space that Renoshin has.
Thank you so much, Renoshin. Renoshin has brought up a very beautiful point, a very beautiful aspect to the problem here. So I think this whole way of even trend. So as Renoshin was speaking, I was just looking back, and in Hinduism, in which aspects did that trend was that even existing, where something becomes trendy and it just picks up. And the conclusion which I'd finally come to is, see, Hinduism fundamentally it boils down to the education system. When you keep everyone in your box, 30 people in a classroom, and label them all as the same, give them all the same things, generalize them in totality, then naturally the environment is such that they all have to mimic each other, basically, not allowing for freedom, creativity, and uniqueness to express. So it is unfortunately because of the way the education system is designed, the uniqueness and the not allowing people to express their creativity and their uniqueness in their own aspects. So when those few spots and those few places where creativity does emerge, it's because it is not something which is encouraged as a whole, as a group, but something which is coming only in one or two places. Then naturally holding on to that and trying to become also another person who is following that creative idea, becoming a follower of that instead of inventing their own creativity. I think that is why that is how this whole trend of starting trends has started. So fundamentally, when we change the education system now, we can overcome this fatigue of trend and trying to be in sync with the trend and trying to keeping up with what's going on in the world. Keeping up with what's going on in the world is great, but not allowing your own creativity to express and continuously going behind other people, other things, and trying to justify yourself by measuring yourself, comparing yourself to others, and not by your own merit, your own creativity, your own uniqueness. That is something which is fundamentally missing in humanity today. And we can all thank the British education system which they had started and which is still being continued in different ways, different flavors, for the setting of trend. So more than an answer, this is a little bit more of a diagnosis of the problem and how this has evolved, how this has started, and maybe in the further, as we discuss, we'll be able to find a solution. The way I see it is, that is the way things are now. We should start a trend of allowing everyone to express their uniqueness and make expressing creativity and uniqueness a trend. When that happens, it will be very easy for us, and it will provide a platform for us to say that it is trendy to take herbal juices, it is trendy to have home treatment. All of this is basically all this which can be done in your home. As Swamiji beautifully said, in Hinduism, food and medicine are two separate things. It is one and the same. When food is meant to heal you, then when we started off this discussion presenting about facts about the pharmaceutical industry and how the food industry, both of them conspiring with each other, colliding together, collaborating together, and conspiring against humanity, against the health of humanity. That is the root cause of every other person having diabetes, every other person suffering from obesity, and the list goes on. So when that fundamental concept of food and medicine are one and the same, and when the food you eat is directly a medicine to protect and heal your body, if we can make this trendy, then this is a one answer solution to all the problems, to the question actually which is prepared before us. How we can move away from the modern healthcare system and become more and more, bring more and more people towards the Hindu healthcare system. Making this trendy of food and medicine are not something different, but it's one and the same. And when you consume your food, it is like consuming the medicine as well, to keep you healthy, to keep you alive, to keep you active and creative throughout the day. Swamiji, through the Kailasa nation and through reviving Hinduism, has offered so many of these courses online. So all of his satsangs are a part of the teaching mechanism in which you can learn all these truths directly in your life. Let's now watch a video about being an e-passport citizen, having the e-citizenship of Kailasa. What do you get being an e-citizenship of Kailasa? All of Swamiji's teachings, everything he has contributed to the world so far, is being offered freely online for you to enrich yourself and for you to share with your families and friends and enrich your teamly as well, the people living around you. Now, all stay tuned and watch a short video about the e-passport. Thank you.
Scatter this enlightenment signs to the whole world wherever they are. Because enlightenment is the birthright of all human beings. Kailasa is responsible to provide that to all human beings. If you are interested in enlightenment, we will immediately bring this to you. If you are not interested, we will explain the whole science, inspire you and make you interested in enlightenment science. We need to cater this enlightenment science to the whole world wherever they are. Because enlightenment is the birthright of all human beings. Kailasa is responsible to provide that to all human beings.
Yes, we're back. So with this, we've almost come to the end of today's Vakyata Sabhas. Both Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam and Ranoshan, both of them have shared beautiful points. How we can move away from the modern healthcare system. How Kailasa is already doing that job. Just by attending the daily satsangs, the presidential briefing that Swamiji is giving to the world, even the way it happens compared to other countries and comparing Sri Kailasa. From the very basis, it is very different. And like how Ranoshan had beautifully shared, making something a trend is all that we need to do. If we can make this a trend where your food and your medicine are not two separate things which you take, it is one and the same. The food that you eat is also the medicine which helps in helping your body protect itself and providing all the health you need just by the food you eat. Then once people start demanding this, once this becomes the market and this is what people want, naturally it is the responsibility of the providers, of the business people, of all the industries to give the people what they want, because they know when that does not happen, then they are naturally going to go out of business. So starting something as a trend and giving people this understanding of having their food itself to become their medicine. Naturally, we can bring everyone away from the modern healthcare system and towards the Hindu healthcare system. So, I would like to thank Sri Nithyananda for coming today and finally helping us come to this conclusion and sharing their thoughts, their cognitions, their views, opinions on this very important topic where thousands of people in the name of healthcare suffer and die because of the healthcare industry. So thank both of you so much for joining us here today. So with this, it's time to enter into Nitya Satsang. Prepare ourselves to receive Swamiji. Please sit with your head, neck and spine in a straight line. Close your eyes and bring your awareness into your Ananda Gandha. Visualize Swamiji sitting there in your Ananda Gandha as Paramashiva with 25 heads and 50 hands. Now, start chanting the Mahavakya Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Allow the mantra to reverberate throughout your entire body. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
I bless you all. Let you all open all your three eyes and manifest.
With the divine, with your eyes closed, is meditation. Connecting with the divine, with your eyes open, is darshan. Come, let us all now move from meditation to darshan. Slowly, very slowly, please open your eyes.